As a creator making basketball content, videos like this are very important. Far too often, the NBA narratives within the mainstream media have focused too much on a LeBron James, what team he's on with the Lakers, a Steph Curry, Golden State Warriors, could they repeat or actually win another championship is what I mean before Steph Curry retires. That's the storyline you hear often. Or Kevin Durant and the Phoenix Suns. But there's so much other great stories, players, and talents, and you never hear of them. Cleveland Cavaliers is one of those teams that I didn't think got their flowers enough. Like when they started the season, 14, 15, and 0, whatever the exact number was, I still didn't think they were getting the attention that they deserved. I covered videos and definitely try to put a spotlight on them. So it is tremendous to see Stephen A. Smith and ESPN First Take do an actual whole segment on the Cavaliers, not just a quick take and then they move on and go back to the regular stuff that we see. I'm going to react to some of the points that they made because I didn't agree with every little thing that they said, nor do I believe the Cavaliers are a shoo-in to win the championship. But let's get into what they're talking about.
Could the Cavs truly win it all?
They could. They could. I'm watching this team. First of all, they're 11-0 against the Western Conference. They're undefeated in their 11 games against the Western Conference. So let's not ignore that, okay? I'm looking at them right now. Molly, right now, they're number one in offensive efficiency, field goal percentage, and three-point percentage shooting. Their net rating second only to OKC. Now, OKC came into this game as the top defensive team in the NBA, and they surrendered 129 points. And this was with Donovan Mitchell having his worst game of the season, 11 points, just 3 of 16 shooting from the field. Jared Allen, this kid, Evan Mobley, I mean, listen, this brother can play. And when you look at him, and Allen had 25 points, they combined for 46 points, 21 rebounds. I'm looking at OKC, and I'm saying, okay, Chet Holmgren is still not back. He's not out there. And you'll definitely need him to go up against a team like Cleveland. But, Wendy, I got to tell you, obviously, we don't want to summarily dismiss the reigning defending NBA champion Boston Celtics. We know what they can do, and we need to see Cleveland to believe it. But I got to tell you something. They got size in Cleveland. They got athleticism. They've got shooters. They defend. I believe that Donovan Mitchell is a bona fide star. All season long, I was thinking about Knicks, Boston. Nah.
Okay, so respect to Stephen A. Smith for admitting that he was focused on Boston and New York Knicks when it came to the East. That was something I noticed really on ESPN a lot. Now, when he talks about Cleveland Cavaliers offense, this is my only issue with the Cavs and teams like this during the regular season. You could have a great offense, but when it comes to the actual playoffs where things slow down, teams could scout you, they have enough time to go through every single player and know your plays. That's when it boils down to actually having a flat-out superstar that could go out there consistently and give you 30 points. And when I look at the Cavaliers starting lineup, they have a very, very balanced offensive scoring output, which again, I think works in the regular season. I just believe an individual is going to have to end up stepping up. So when Stephen A. brings up believing in Donovan Mitchell a lot, I like him as a star. It's just that in one of the games versus Celtics, he struggled a lot in that game. And then in this one, I see him struggle again. I'm just wondering when he ends up facing that really solid defensive team, will he be the guy that could go out there and consistently give you that 30 that I'm talking about? In my personal opinion, I think the Cavaliers' best player, at least overall, is Evan Mobley. He could give you the points if you need it. Maybe not the 30, 40 balls that Donovan could get you, but the defense as well, the playmaking, the facilitating. He could shoot when he's open. If he has a standstill shot at least, he could drive it. I like Evan Mobley the most on that team in my personal opinion. Let's continue on though with this conversation because there's more that I found interesting.
There were 30 lead changes in this game. And yes, there was a lot of threes shot, but it was within systems. It was if you don't love this game, if you watch this, you don't love basketball. This was a display of great high-level basketball. To talk to you about the Cavs, what they have is 9 or 10 players who can all dribble, pass, and shoot. And that may seem like a basic concept, but that makes them an absolute misery to defend because all of their players are live. And not only that, the skill level at which Jared Allen and Evan Mobley work together, this was a group that I admit, I thought that they couldn't work together. After last season, I said they are underachieving. They have to maybe consider breaking them up. Kobe Altman, their GM, and Kenny Atkinson, when he came with the plan, said there's a way to do it. And basically what Kenny Atkinson is doing is playing Evan Mobley kind of like Draymond Green. He's not Draymond Green, I want to be clear. Right. Kenny Atkinson was the last 3 years in Golden State, won a ring with the Warriors. You watch how Evan Mobley gets the ball in the middle of the court and then disseminates it, and he does it with speed and accuracy. It's reminiscent of the way Draymond plays.
Ironically, everything Brian Windhorst said about the Cavaliers' versatility with their players on offense is the exact reason why I believe that Jared Allen and Evan Mobley could work together. They are not your traditional center and power forward who kind of just clog the paint in offense, and then defensively they could only stay within the paint on that side of the ball too. Basically, to me, it's like, what's the difference between having Jared Allen and Evan Mobley on the court at the same time versus a team that will have, let's say, 2 small forwards on the court and call it small ball? The same argument can be made in both cases, that you have 2 players that are overlapping each other. It's working out in the Cavaliers one though. And in regards to comparing Evan Mobley to Draymond Green, that was an interesting comparison. The only difference I would say is Evan Mobley will give you more scoring. I think he's capable of that better than Draymond Green was, even in his prime. But Draymond was a much better playmaker and ball handler, to be honest. So that is the only key thing that I would say when it comes to that comparison. But I understand why that could be made.
And the way they move the ball is reminiscent of the way the Warriors played when they first started their run with Steph and Clay and Sean Livingston and Andre Iguodala. Like, they don't have Steph. I don't want to make it a straight comparison.
No, nobody.
But Steve Kerr has seen this. Steve Kerr said the exact same words about the Cavs about 2 weeks ago.
And Atkinson is just showing the brilliance of Steve Kerr as a coach, because we know that as good as Atkinson was, he wasn't coaching the way that he's coaching now when he was a head coach in Brooklyn before that, Wendy. You know that, I know that. So being on Steve Kerr's bench, watching them do the things that they do certainly helps. Looking at Cleveland, listen, I'm not going to pick them over Boston, but I'm not going to lie to you, Molly. It would not surprise me, based on what I saw, and I watched that game last night, it would not surprise me at all if the Cleveland Cavaliers won the championship.
Kenny Atkinson was the assistant coach of the Golden State Warriors between 2021 to 2024. He won a championship with them in 2022. He became the head coach this year in the offseason, 2024, I should say, in June. So I like him really as a head coach of the year candidate right now, and I had him early when the Cavaliers got off to their hot start, and they still are obviously hot right now. I also give him a lot of credit for using Evan Mobley more to ball handle and facilitate, as I was mentioning before. That wasn't something that he was doing until Kenny Atkinson came around. As far as the Golden State Warriors comparison to the Cleveland Cavaliers, what I would say to what Brian Windhorst is, I don't think they even have a Klay Thompson, to be honest. I would take that prime Klay Thompson, who played elite defense, with his ability to score 37 points in 1 quarter, score 60 points in 29 minutes. Yeah, I like that guy even more than maybe the players that the Cavaliers have right now. Lastly, to focus on a potential playoff matchup between the Celtics versus the Cavaliers, and I wouldn't count out the Knicks just yet in this conversation in the East, but if we're focusing on just that matchup, I don't think the Cavaliers match up good against the Celtics. I think it's a mismatch nightmare when they try to guard Jason Tatum. They don't have the perimeter players in order to guard a player like that. As a result, it puts a lot of pressure on Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. Actually, I would say Isaac Okoro would be the best one, but he's a little bit undersized to guard someone like Tatum. That's just my take, though. Y'all let me know in the comment section. Do you see the Cavaliers as championship contenders? Legitimately, I want to know. Do you think they could beat the Celtics? Yes or no? The New York Knicks? Let me know where you overall see the Eastern Conference going, all right? Salute for listening, and as always, like, share, and subscribe. Peace.